just watch any 80s commercial.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, that's the kind of crappy coffee that we tolerated back then? Freeze-dried, frozen...
Sanka.
Pre-ground beans. Folgers in your cup.
You just
People drank Folgers at one point?
Just put the crystals in and it's freeze-dried. Add boiling water.
Oh yeah, the instant coffee stuff.
Nasty.
I think Friends probably was the one to blame for coffee shops.
Yeah.
Because 95 to 2005, it took place in a coffee shop.
That's right.
So.
And they were always drinking coffee. Yeah. Trying to think of.
Have you seen? Did you see the reboot 21 Jump Street? Did you see that one?
The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a scene. It's like this is 8 years after that. I just thought of this scene when you're talking about this. They've been out of high school for 8 years in this movie.
Oh yeah.
And they what are the names? It's Jonah Hill and what's Hunky guy's name? Magic Mike's name.
Yeah, I know who you're thinking of.
I'm totally blanking now. I keep wanting to say Tom Hardy.
No,
that's so wrong.
Not him.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
So they get out of the car and he's like, he's making fun of Jonah Hill for having 2 straps on his backpack.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got to go 1 strap. You can't go 2 straps. They get out of the car and they're walking through the parking lot and Jonah Hill sees everybody has 2 straps on, so he puts 2 straps on. And they walk up to, it's not James Franco, it's Dave Franco.
Yes.
Is the actor. And he's like, what's that car get, like 10 miles to the gallon or something like that? And he's like, try 7. And he's talking about his car is all biodiesel. It runs off of fry fat and stuff like that. And Channing Tatum, they're like talking and the friend is like, hey, can you guys keep it down? I'm trying to study over there. And Channing Tatum is like, look at this loser. He cares.
Yeah.
He's actually trying.
Yeah.
And then he punches him and finds out that he's gay.
Yeah.
And finds out that, he can't use gay as a slur anymore.
Because it's acceptable, to be gay. It's acceptable to study and try hard. It's acceptable to be
care about the environment.
Yeah.
And ride bicycles and things like do homework.
Yeah. All the friends after he hit him, he's like, what's wrong with you, man?
Why are you so insensitive?
Yeah.
And then Jonah Hill ends up being the popular kid at that school because the things he's into, like drama club, is everybody's into.
Cool, yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's so they're anti-organized sports, and the jock can't figure out how to fit in.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny.
I think that would be another thing, is being part of theater. Because I know back in the day, I don't think it was a cool thing. Mm-hmm. But now, it's an art, people see it as an art form. Oh, you're doing extracurricular things. That's so cool,
Mm-hmm. For the most part. Yeah, what was it? There's like the Breakfast Club that's like, these are your archetypes and stuff, and that was what it was in the 80s. And then there was like a modern day Breakfast Club that tried to break it all up or something. Maybe it was no, it couldn't have been the Goldbergs because they're stuck in the 80s.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, did I ever tell you we were at the gym one day and we're talking about all the superhero movies and everything like that and totally geeking it up. Talking about a lot of the stuff we talk about on this podcast. But an older, one of our friends was there and he's in his 40s and he's like, what happened to my gym? And it's not his gym, but he's like, this used to be where we would come and talk about you guys and now you guys are all the ones in the gym. I'm like, yeah, it's totally cool for you to be into Batman or The Flash and lift weights at the same time. It's no longer like, here's the jocks and here's the geeks.
Yeah.
It's now like, you've got sites like Nerd Fitness that are all about getting stronger and being geeky. So I feel like 15 years ago, there probably was, we just weren't as clued into it, but it seems to be there's a lot more crossover today than there was back then.
Yeah.
You fit into certain boxes. And like I said, it's probably been like that for every generation. Like in the 60s, people in the 80s were like, we're so much more open than we were
Yeah.
back in the 60s.
Yeah.
But that's what I kind of feel like is you can be more weird today than you could have
Yeah.
back then.
I feel like today, even if it's something that's weird that you're into, people are kind of just like, oh, okay, that's your thing. Like, it's not.
Tolerant of it.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
tolerant. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of there's a book that two of the editors for Reason magazine wrote, and it's called The Declaration of Independence, but it's not independence like independence, it's independence ENTS, so like independent voters kind of
Yeah.
thing. And they say one of the things that continues to push progress forward in spite of any kind of rollbacks for freedoms and liberty and stuff like that is that people just continue to get weirder and weirder, and people are fine with that.
Yeah.
We don't only accept it, we receive it with open arms, and we're
Yeah.
just like, you've got your crazy, I've got my crazy. As long as you don't impose your crazy on me,
Yeah.
I won't impose my crazy on you. And we're just, I think it's like that whole idea of Velvet Underground breaking into the Soviet Union kind of thing, is it's just like, you don't all have to look exactly the same. We can be rebellious and we can be different, and we can get along and live and not all have to like the same thing or watch the same 4 channels or
Yeah.
things like that. So I think it's a good trend, and that's what they say. That's where liberty comes. That's why liberty is trending upwards, is because people want to be free to do what makes them happy.
Happy. Yeah.
And not all of us listen to the same newscaster every single night, and not all of us watch the exact same moment on TV on
Yeah.
the same channel.
Who watches live TV anymore?
We watch Facebook Live
Yeah.
or YouTube Live, but
Yeah.
actually a lot of people still watch regular TV. It's weird.
Yeah. That is weird. Commercials? What the heck? No.
Actually, do you know what? I miss commercials on regular
I
TV.
kind of do too.
Because I've been watching the CW app now, because that's where all the CW shows moved. They've left Hulu and they've gone to the CW app. And the problem when I have to watch the commercials curated by the CW app, or even by Hulu, is I end up watching the exact same 3
It
commercials
is. It's the same
every
thing.
single break.
Yeah.
And so I miss kind of... I still prefer Netflix where you don't have commercials. And I haven't brought myself to the point where I would pay for no commercials on Hulu. Cause
Right. Same.
it's
same
a
here.
quick break for me to run to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Or,
And it's only 3
yeah.
commercials.
So it's not totally annoying, but it is like the same 3 commercials
Yeah.
every single time. And they just repeat over and
Yeah.
over and over again. I'm like, man, I miss the days of live TV when I'd have like 50 commercials.
Yeah.
And they'd be shoved all into like, it'd be a longer commercial break, but at least there'd be some variety there.
Yeah. I miss
It's such a weird thing to complain about.
I miss McDonald's commercials or
Yeah.
something stupid. Yeah.
Local commercials. You don't see any local commercials on Hulu. So like John and Dave were talking on their podcast about the Cars for Kids commercial. When
Yeah.
Dave's car bit the dust. And I'm like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about because I don't watch anything with local commercials. Or the 800-588-2300 Empire. I'm like, I haven't seen one of those in
Yeah.
decades,
Yeah.
it seems. Probably like 6 years.
Yeah.
So. Oh, that's what's been driving me crazy about the commercials. And this fits into this topic. Final Fantasy 15 commercials have been playing like crazy on Hulu, and it's driving me nuts because I do not have an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, and I will never be able to play this amazing experience, and it makes me sad.
Yeah. I'm not even interested in that game.
Oh my gosh, I'm so interested in it. I'm just looking at it, I'm just like, oh, Final Fantasy 15. A PlayStation 4 is only $300.
Only $300, yeah.
And Sarah even looked into it because of how much I've been drooling over it on
Yeah.
commercial breaks. She's like, we can't do that right now. I'm sorry.
Don't
I'm
do
like,
it. It'll be a distraction.
Yeah, it would. Well, I still have the PlayStation that I bought 2 years ago so that I could replay 7, 8, and 9, and I still haven't done that.
Haven't done that. Yeah, I know.
So that's what I told her is I'm like, it's fine. 15 will still be there 10 years from now. What I'm going to do, if I really cared, I'll go back and I'll replay 7, 8, and 9, beat those, buy a PlayStation 2 so that I can play 10,
10,
11,
12.
12, whatever they
Yeah.
have. And I'll just continue to upgrade as I beat the game. And eventually, 4 years from now, Final Fantasy 15 will be there. I'll have a PlayStation 4.
Or it'll be on your phone.
I can buy one for $100 at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Mm.
But that was not cool 15 years ago. When I was playing Final Fantasy 7 back in 1996 or whatever.
Yeah.
Those were pretty. Even a PlayStation itself was a pretty niche thing back then. Everybody had an SNES or a Nintendo 64. So.
Yeah. It felt like back in the day when there was just like SNES, it felt more special to talk about it with like 2 or 3 friends. Because not everybody was doing it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just felt more personal to me.
I feel like back then too, there were a lot fewer games that had crossed over systems.
Yeah.
So you had Nintendo games and you had PlayStation games, but there wasn't a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays you can pretty much play the same games on
Yeah.
Xbox versus PlayStation. Now Wii is a completely different world. But you can, a lot of the games cross over and have the same gameplay experience now on systems. So back then you used to be much more likely to own all the systems, whereas you typically won't find somebody that owns an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4 nowadays.
I can't tell you the last time I've actually beaten a game, because in today's world,
You don't beat games.
you don't beat games, and there's so many games that come out. Like back in the SNES days, you know, one game would come out a year, so you had to play.
You're
it
also
and beat
more
it.
broke back then.
Yeah, true. But it's like games just keep coming out, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play this one for 5 minutes. I'm gonna play this one for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it's just ADD.
That's one of the things I don't want to speak ill of it because it still looks amazing and I can't wait to play it in 5 or 10 years. But Final Fantasy 15 looks open world.
It is, and that kills
I'm
me.
like, oh my gosh, it's now World of Warcraft. I hope it still has the amazing plot that I love and miss from 8 and 7. So
Yeah. I don't know. It's a different world today. Yeah. I think glasses are cool now. They weren't cool 15 years ago. You know? And they're getting like bigger and bigger, like in the 80s. And you know, because it's hipsters, it's like, ooh, this is cool now.
you're assuming that hipsters are cool.
To themselves, they are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I still don't think. I don't know.
You still don't think hipsters are cool?
Nah, I'm not cool enough to make that judgment.
Me either. I don't even know what cool is.
Beer is cool and trendy again.
Beer and beards.
Beards. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it was only 15 years ago. 2001 doesn't seem like that far away.
No.
I mean, it's not like we're talking about parachute pants or something.
Yeah.
Like we're having our CrossFit box is having a Christmas party that's 90s themed, and it's like, finally, my entire wardrobe
normal wardrobe
is ready for this.
Yeah.
If you don't have an outfit that fits into the 90s in your existing wardrobe, I'm not going to say if you don't, because I already know you do.
I do.
All you need is a baggy sweatshirt and some baggy jeans.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
And board shorts and a tank top.
Some Quicksilver shirts or Billabong. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's whatever is cool now is gonna be uncool to our kids.
Yeah.
It always changes what's cool.
Well, that's why I joke. I don't know what's trendy today is because I still am kind of living in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what's trendy today.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea what's good music.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Yeah. Banjos are cool and trendy today. Oh wait, no, Mumford & Sons was 5 years ago, so they're already out.
It's gone, yeah. Now it's Metallica. They came out with a new album, so now it's hard rock
I
or
have
whatever.
no idea. I read a book that was kind of interesting, but it talked about like there's a 10 or 12 year cycle between kind of craftsman artisanal culture and leather metal rock culture. And they actually like talked about how like The Matrix, when it came out in 1998, ushered in a decade of movies being like Matrix and Underworld and, you know, very dark, and blacks and grays were like the main colors and that kind of stuff. And then it shifts back to where the 2000s, 2010s, or 2009, 2010, 11 look much more like Nirvana from the early 90s kind of culture, where we're all wearing plaids and drinking craft beers and having beards, versus the kind of, it's kind of like a switch between grunge and goth kind of cultural shifts.
Interesting.
And that was interesting for me to see. You get more of a swing towards independent Wes Anderson type movies, and then a swing back towards more vampire or Matrixy type movies. Right. So I don't know if there was anything to it, but it was just interesting to see. That's why I feel so much more comfortable in like why the 90s seem like today is because what Nirvana and what grunge was wearing back then you could get away with right now kind of thing.
Yeah, back in style. Yeah.
Whereas if you dressed up like Evanescence or something, or Linkin Park nowadays, walk around in leather, you'd be like, you're a freak. Yeah. But a couple years from now, it'll be fine. It'll be back again.
It just repeats. Mm-hmm. Well, it's always funny, like punk, the punk music back in the day, punk rockers, they were, you know, rebels and anarchy or whatever, not following rules. And then they play music and they get a following and they work with big companies to get sponsors. And it's like, but now what do you do? Because now you're not rebels. You're part of this system that you're singing about. It's just funny.
And the waves carried back, because what was the precursor to the 90s? It was the 80s, which is very much like leather and punk and Matrix kind of stuff. And what was the precursor to the 80s? It was the 70s, which was very much about beards and plaid and, you know, independent music and singer-songwriters and stuff like that.
Yeah, because in the 70s, there were bell-bottoms. And I remember in 95, when I went to high school, bell-bottoms. Yeah. And flannel, and it was interesting.
Mm-hmm. So if you're a leather punk kind of person, 10 or 12 years from 2008, 2009, you're coming up on, you got 4 more years to suffer through it.
I just can't wait till VHS comes back in style, guys.
You joke. But I've actually heard of that.
No.
And people are listening to cassette tapes again, too.
What?
Yeah.
I mean,
bands are making tons of money selling vinyl. But I mean, that's been around for like 5 years.
I don't think records have ever gone down. I think just in general, people...
No, they've definitely disappeared.
Yeah.
Unless you were a DJ.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But they're selling them again.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, they're selling cassette tapes again, too. So, 8 tracks. Good thing I held on to my collection.
Yeah.
So.
Reminds me of that Mitch Hedberg joke. He's like, I went to a CD store that said they specialize in hard to find CDs. Mm-hmm. Nothing was alphabetized. Yeah, I don't even listen to CDs. I just do Pandora, Spotify.
Yeah. I listen to CDs if I'm in my truck for long enough, I'm listening to podcasts, and they're downloaded onto my phone, so I don't use data. But if I don't want to stream something, I'll typically have a CD in my truck, but I'm not listening to it most of the time. I'll listen to the radio before I listen to the same CD over and over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's usually Amazon Music or Pandora.
What's funny about Amazon is if you order a physical CD from them, they have that. It's like
Auto
a free,
rip.
yeah. And then what's funny is you can sell the CD back to them for like a quarter or $1. So it's like when the FedEx guy comes and be like, and I'm going to return this.
Yeah. I've actually had situations with Amazon where I got the wrong CD or I got a duplicate CD and sent it back to them, and they're like, don't bother sending it back.
Yeah, it's
it costs
too
them
much
more to
more
ship
money
it back
to-
and
yeah.
restock it. And they just like, keep it on us. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think if you do that multiple times, they catch on.
They'll know, yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Or uncool.
I
don't know.
assume. Who knows?
Yeah.
We're in our mid-30s. We're not the arbiters of what's cool anymore.
My kids.
I know it's
still-
cool for me.
Yeah.
I think that's what's cool about how different I was 15 years ago. I joked about it at the beginning, but I care a lot less.
Yeah. I don't care.
I just
I just like
like
what
what
I like.
and I'm,
Yeah.
interested in trying new things. But if I don't like it, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand these kids and their Snapchats.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I tried Snapchat. I'm like, I don't even get it.
Yeah.
I'm out.
and I don't care that I don't get it.
I don't either.
Nice.
I have no FOMO on Snapchat.
I'm that way with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It's going great on Facebook for me, by the way.
I'm quitting Facebook.
Yeah. I don't even
feel like I know you anymore.
You don't know this false facade on Facebook that I put on.
I'm like,
No.
I've not talked to you in 2 weeks. You're not on Facebook anymore.
Yeah. My kids still kind of think I'm cool. But that'll probably change.
That'll change in 15 years too.
Or, no, it'll change. My daughter's 9. It'll change in like
4.
4.
Yeah.
But then by the time she's like 25, then I'll know everything. It'll come back to.
Come back.
Yeah.
10 or 12 year cycle.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
There
That's
you go.
weird. Anyway, this has been Hadoken Debt, your weekly podcast about being a family man, personal finance, and nerd culture. And we don't know what's cool. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at CP_EH. The kids are still using Instagram, right?
Yes.
Okay. At least some are.
Yeah.
I'm on the Instagram at CP_EH and blogging at barrettyoung.com.
And I'm on Twitter at
You're
Charchangs.
so old.
I know, Twitter. Facebook's dying, man. That's why I got off.
You can, I can be in your top 8 on MySpace
Yes.
at myspace.com/barrettyoung.
Along with Weird Al and Bill Gates.
Do you remember when that came back a couple years ago?
Yes.
I actually recreated a profile.
I
over
did
there,
too.
But I've just realized it's all
It's music.
and I'm not cool enough for MySpace anymore.
And it's really weird because it's not scrolling up or down.
It's
scrolling.
sideways.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. I just realized I'm not cool enough for it anymore.
Yeah. And support the show. Patreon.com/HadokenDebt. See ya. Hour and 24 minutes.
It was a good week.
Yeah, it was.
So you still have kids in your daycare at this
Yeah.
point?
3. I can't wait till the summer when I'm done with it. I tried it. It's not for me. It's not good for anxiety.
Hadoken!